Is it true that the longer this goes, the longer it will take for us to go back where we were?
There's no doubt that that is true. There's no doubt that the president is acutely aware that that is true. There's no doubt that the president's acutely aware that this is having a negative effect with his charm offensive for affordability, inflation, monetary policy, the trade wars. This situation impacts every facet of American and global economy. President Trump knows that. He had this conversation yesterday with Putin. We don't know all the details of that yet, but I think we're going to be hearing some very big news, and I'm confident the president will bring this conflict to a swift conclusion.
Well, to that point, Patrice, earlier in that Truth Social post, the president issuing a warning saying, quote, if Iran does anything that stops the flow of oil within the Strait of Hormuz, they will be hit by the United States of America 20 times harder than they have been hit thus far. Talk to us about that statement. This president has made good on his promise many times before. As you take a look at where gasoline is going, and this is the difficult part, by the way, for Americans to swallow. 2 weeks ago, an average gallon of gas was $2.99. Now it's $3.54. So there is a 55-cent rise in just 2 weeks. It does continue to climb. Talk about this tightrope that the president does have to walk. He's got to keep up the attacks, right, on Operation Epic Fury, but also somehow comfort the American people on the topic of affordability.
Well, when President spoke yesterday, I think he made waves with the stock market, and I think he brought some certainty and guaranteeing that this will be a short conflict. So that 50-cent price increase in gas prices at the pump won't double to $1 to $2 or more if this is a protracted excursion, as he talked about. You know, and importantly, though, he also sent a signal with the tweet or his message that you mentioned, because yesterday Iran was boasting and saying that, you know what, we can stand in here and we can ensure that the straits remain closed so that the price of a barrel of oil goes up to $200 a gallon. We'll see how well, you know, every country in this world will be able to stomach $200 per barrel, and they're not going to tolerate that, and they're going to push pressure on the United States. Well, that is not happening. Right now, I believe what crude oil is trading at about $83 a barrel. So, you know, we've seen these prices come down. That's a really good thing, I think, both for the markets, but also for the gas prices that people will start to feel back at home. This will be a short-term bump of price increases, not long-term.
Mark, in California, gas prices there have now gone over $5 a gallon. Do you think that the president should tap into the oil reserves? And what do you think that local leaders can do? Should they suspend the state gas tax?
Yeah, listen, you know, California is such a hot mess, guys. It's very hard for me to comment or offer much advice there. When you talk about the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, the president, I think, can and probably will tap into the spur. But I think more importantly, we're going to see the G7 meeting, the G7 nations agreeing to increase their supply. OPEC, I think, you're going to see starting to increase supply. And I think we're also going to see, news that we might even see some sanctioned oil from Russia coming off sanction and entering the supply. A lot is hanging on what was discussed in that conversation yesterday between the president and Putin.